heads and 4 long blue arms.
The Loch Ness Monster.
From outer space.
Eddie just wants to massacre him.
The one out there and kill him. Wipe them out. All of them. To the very last man. Violence. Brutality.
Trick-or-treaters are all dead. Isn't it beautiful? Take a walk in the cemetery. Get eaten up by cannibals.
Celebrate Halloween.
Love and kisses, Penny baby.
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Hey, BALLBUSTERS, Bates here with your friend and mine, Ray Mungus. And we float too down here on episode 61 of Way of Life Live. How goes it over there?
It's going, man. It's going. How are you?
I guess I can't complain. We had sun today, so that was nice.
Yeah, no, everybody's kind of like acting like we're Waterworld over here, but it's just been drizzling for the most part. Like just one long, consistent drizzle for like days.
Yeah, no, it's just been miserable. Like, listen, I like a good dark, dreary, rainy day. So, sometimes those are like the most like relaxing days because it just makes you feel so fucking lazy and all you want to do is lay in bed and sleep. But when that shit is like never ending, well, then you're like never getting out of bed and you just feel depressed all the time.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I prefer those myself, and I don't know. The only time I don't like them is when I'm stuck at work. When I'm over there and I'm just like, oh my god, I could be in my bed instead and enjoying this, like truly enjoying it. That's when I get a little bummed out. Not so much when I'm actually in bed though.
Yeah, no, because when it rains out, it's always a little colder, a little chillier out, and then you just want to, get under a blanket and just be comfortable and just a lazy sack of shit. That's all you
Yeah, I
want to
mean
do.
that's basically how my day was for the most part. I've had multiple bed sessions today. I got what I had to do done, and then I'm like, all right, I'll take a little nap, and I'll try to take a little nap before the podcast, but that didn't end up happening. But yeah, it worked out, minus the rain, of course.
Yep. So yeah, that's good. Nice to see a little sun. As we're still getting baby shit ready. A few more weeks.
I know that kind of snuck up on us, like when
It snuck up on you and fucking didn't sneak up on me.
Well, yeah, you're dealing with it every day, but like it just feels like yesterday that you were telling everybody, and then now it's like, hey, in a few weeks, my life is about to change massively.
Yeah, it's gonna change pretty heavily, but I don't think it's going to interfere as much as it could.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I mean, it just I don't see the change as a bad thing. It's more of
No, not at
an
all.
evolution next step thing. It's a good kind of change.
Yeah. It, and actually kind of a unique one for our little, motley crew, because none of us, none of us in that crew has a child.
Well, the title of tonight's episode is indeed more accurate. It's a little more accurate than we led on to be.
I guess
The
so.
Losers Club.
Art imitating life? Question mark?
Something like that. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah. So, keep it busy with, baby stuff. And my wife's mother is coming next week to stay with us for 2 months.
Nice.
So,
How are you looking forward to that?
I guess. Not like I can talk to her.
That's a very good point. I mean, like, you always have that stereotypical, oh no, the in-laws are coming, but I think you have a little bit of an advantage here because, there's that language barrier. So you're just like, you nod at each other, and that's basically the extent of that.
Yeah, pretty massive barrier.
To say the least.
So, before we get started, a couple things to go over today. Real quick. It's crazy to think about it, but on this day, back in 2010, we lost one of the greatest voices in metal ever. And that's it. And today is the anniversary of Dio's death. Ronnie James Dio passed away on this day in 2010.
Wow, 2010, dude. Where's the time going? Like, it feels like we got that news a couple years ago.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
The sting doesn't go away because there's just like when he left us, there was just a massive hole left in the metal genre. That wound just still hasn't healed. What, 8-9 years later?
Yeah, no, it's pretty, it's crazy. So, being big metalheads and me being one of the biggest Dio fans ever to walk this planet, I just wanted to give the man his due over here on our little channel. And yeah, man, just crazy thinking about it.
I agree.
So our channel continues to grow for some god unknown fucking reason here, and we've in like the last week or so gained like another 1,000 subscribers. And I can't thank you people enough. I mean, you guys are crazy. It's awesome. Hopefully some of these new subscribers will figure out that we do live streams on Wednesday and they come and they hang out. But regardless, I mean, that's pretty awesome growth.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I'm still trying to figure this out, and it's tremendous. It's I'm not sure if it's just like something. Maybe we've become a meme. Maybe cannibalism is really popular wherever these subscribers are coming from. I don't quite know exactly, but the fact that they're coming to hang out over at Dead Entertainment is pretty okay with me. When you look in the analytics and stuff, not to bore you with it, but like to see up 100 or 999+% from last week, it's just like, how do these numbers even happen? And I'm sure other channels grow crazily. But it's cool for us who've been just chugging along for the last year. And in addition to that, one of our live commentaries has just broken 500,000 views. 511,000 views within the last month. And don't know what's up there either, but that's kind of fucking cool.
Yeah. You hear that? You see this here? This is us swinging our e-dick right now. No.
We love Cannibal Ferox, but Jesus Christ,
yeah,
you guys really love it.
Listen, I can't take credit for Cannibal Ferox, where for whatever reason why that video has done over 500,000 views. You can't take credit for Cannibal Ferox, but I know who can, and that's Ricky.
Ricky.
Of course. Ricky, you gotta give it up to Ricky and the soundtrack. I mean,
Oh man, like if we had our soundboard set up, like right now we'd be playing that really funky song. You know, that's at the very beginning of the movie.
I'm putting. You know what? I'm doing that. I might
It
do
would
it
be
tonight.
great, right?
I might do that tonight. That is so going on the soundboard. I don't care what Ralph thinks about that, but it's going on. It's happening.
See, this is how we slowly build the soundboard. We just come up with a random idea, then after 6 months or so, we add another clip. So what are we up to? Two now?
I only have 4 right at the moment. Eventually, I'm gonna get it to where I can play them and you will hear them on your side. I just gotta figure out how the fuck to do that.
You figure that out, and I will compile a library of amazing clips. I just got to be really not lazy, and we're gonna have some great ones, like mostly from an American hippie in Israel. But you know, that's besides.
And the last bit of news is the end of the month. I'm guessing it's the last Friday of the month. It is.
Yes,
The last day of the
Friday
month. So that would be May 31st. We will be doing our next live commentary. And surprisingly enough, it is not a 70s revenge grindhouse schlock film. I know. They'll be back soon enough. Don't worry. We got plenty more to watch. But I decided to go something a little different. It's a genre we have watched before, but it's from a country we have not yet dove into. And so on May 31st, we will be watching one of my favorite zombie movies from Japan, Biozombie. Oh, man.
I believe it's from Hong Kong, actually.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. I was doing a little research on it to get a few things together, and I actually thought it was a Japanese film as well. No racist or anything, but like I legitimately thought it was a Japanese movie, and it apparently came out. It's from Hong Kong.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I always thought it was Japanese.
Yeah, you would think, because in the general area that era it came out in, that's when like the Japanese movies just really started to take off like in a big way. So it would kind of like fit hand in hand with the time frame, but hey, more you know.
You know, it's really weird because the aesthetics of the movie are highly Japanese. The characters really come off as Japanese, and oh wow, that's even the story, just like the way it plays out. It's just so Japanese. But you know, you're absolutely right. For freaking like 15 years, I thought this movie was Japanese, and but you're also right in that it was around that era where Japanese cinema was just blowing up in the U.S. I mean, this is around the time where movies like Versus were becoming big, Audition, Junk, Wild Zero. You know, all these crazy Japanese horror movies were just blowing up on the scene. If you're going to conventions, you know, these are the movies you were seeing at some of the DVD vendors at those conventions. So, honest mistake, but one I can't believe because I'm a really big fan of this movie. Yeah, that's news to me.
No, you're right though. There's a lot of that era was like the fucking golden age just starting for Japanese cinema. You know, you had the gore fest slasher type movies. You had the ghost movies starting to make knock down doors and be remade in this country. You just had like tremendous talent coming out of that era. So like it's easy to lump that all together.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's oh, interesting. You know that movie had like a pseudo kind of sequel?
No, I did not. Actually, before meeting you, I had never heard of the film. You're the one that showed this thing to me, and oh my god, it's so awesome. But you've piqued my interest once again, all these years later. A sequel?
It's not like a direct sequel, but it's like some sort of like spiritual pseudo sequel.
Okay, so like House on the Edge of the Park style.
Sort of. I think it might be a little closer, but it's called BioCops.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. But anyway, May 31st. If you guys have never seen or heard of this film, definitely come by and check it out with us. Watch it with us. Remember, you can watch it with us. Just contact me on Twitter. I'll give you the info on how you can watch it while we watch it. It's a good time, and it's a really fun movie. I don't know. It is sort of like a horror comedy, but it's good. I don't know. It's just such a really just fun popcorn movie, man. We're gonna have a good time with this one.
Very fitting of the era too, because like those late '90s movies with Scream and I know what you did last summer. They all try to inject that little bit of zaniness to it, and what the filmmakers did with Biozombie, just like everything worked out perfect. The timing worked out so well for these like type of movies to be made, and they were all just kind of like working off of each other's like creativity.
Yeah, and a lot of the like the direction and the cinematography in the movie is really cool, and the homage, the homage it pays to Dawn of the Dead, because the entire movie takes place in a shopping mall, and it's very, very appropriate. It's great. It's a really fun movie, and I hope some of you guys come out and check that out with us. All right, enough of the jibba jabba. Let's go ahead, jump into some horror news here. All right, what do we got here? So from the company in the studio that brought us the Friday the 13th game, IllFonic has finally released information regarding their next project with a little teaser trailer for Predator Hunting Grounds. Pretty cool that they got that IP. And it looks like it's going to be more or less another Friday the 13th type asymmetrical survival game where you're going to have a group of people playing as some type of military op characters, and then you're going to have the one character playing as the Predator. Don't really think we have too much more info other than that, do we?
No, we just have the little pseudo cinematic trailer. There's no gameplay features or anything like that yet, but just knowing that we are getting another type of Friday the 13th like game with the Predator IP is like, I almost feel like that game makes more sense than Friday the 13th. Like I would have like moved forward with that to begin with, but in any case, while Friday the 13th is kind of held up with the legal battles and all that headache, this seems like the logical next step aside from doing another slasher game. Only downside that I think that I'm seeing right now is it seems to be coming right out with PlayStation 4.
Yes.
And that's really bizarre to me. Really bizarre choice. Unless it's one of those situations where Sony puts it out first and then they polish the Xbox and PC version a little bit down the road. There's a lot of exclusivity with gaming these days, and that makes the most sense. I hope it's not a PS4 exclusive, despite me having one. But this game looks like it has a lot of potential, especially with them honing in on the original Predator type of scenery and environment.
Yeah, a lot of people are hoping that it's just a timed exclusive. It's just PS4 for a little while and then comes to, other platforms. I too have a PS4, but I refuse to pay for a service to play online. I mean, why the fuck am I going to do that? I have a $3,000 gaming rig, and I can play most of my games, if not all of my games, unless it's an MMO, online for free. So, you know, release it for PC. Because this is a game I would definitely pick up. The studio does pretty good, I gotta say. You know, they for the most part they keep their promises, and they stay up to date with a lot of their shit. And can't really say anything too bad about the studio. So this I would definitely continue to support them and pick up the game. But I mean, if it's only coming out for PlayStation 4, yeah, I'll have to. It'll be a pass because I'm not paying to play that game online. Sorry.
Yeah, I completely agree on that front. And it also like kind of has the potential to bridge a gap of between like horror slash survival type of gamers and, as much as I despise them, the Call of Duty type of gamers, because you're gonna have like your military op and they're gonna be hunting the predator and vice versa. So that could really open up to a huge player base. If they go with all the systems, especially if they decide to cross-platform, which who knows if that'll ever happen. But to just come out on PlayStation 4, you're really, really putting yourself in a hole. And I'm hoping that whatever Sony's offering for the said exclusivity is worth the amount that you'd be losing by not coming out on other platforms. It just doesn't make sense to me, not from a business point.
Yeah, I still don't understand what the fucking problem is with studios and game companies not going cross-platform with their shit. I mean, it's 2000 fucking 19. People playing on Xbox and people playing on PS4 and people playing on fucking PC should all be able to play together. All right, it's 2000 fucking 19. You know when they first started doing cross-platform? Back when Dreamcast was a goddamn thing. I was playing Quake 3 Arena in our Unreal tournament on my PC, and I was playing with fucking Dreamcast players. Like, this isn't fucking rocket science here, man. It's basic server technology. Fucking get on the ball with this shit.
Yeah, and whether they like it or not, each of these platforms exist. They can ignore them as much as they want to and pretend that they're the higher, platform in the market. But who fucking cares? The point is, the gamers don't give a shit about that. It's going to get people to pick up your system and pick up the game for the exclusivity. But once that's gone, once that first week of sales is over with, what does exclusivity mean? Once everything's hot and the ball is rolling, it just doesn't matter to these people. They're just going to either pick it up or they're not going to play it at all. And shit, I'm 100% with you. This isn't rocket science. It's nothing new. It's not new technology. And regardless, your competition's going to continue to thrive. You may as well play ball with them so you have the biggest player base and people continuing to play, not sitting there worrying about, oh, there's only 100 and so people playing right now on this platform and 200 people playing on that platform. They open up the gates, man. It's just going to continue to live. And I think that's why Fortnite is exceeding everybody's expectations, because you could play it on a fucking book if you wanted to. Like, they have it open to pretty much everybody and every piece of technology. Learn from the people that are going through success, like PlayStation and Xbox and PC should not be thinking this way, not with this old mentality. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's just the fucking consoles. I mean, PCs, is like the only platform where, modding is a thing. You can't mod shit on PS4 and Xbox, So, like, PC is not the issue. It's the consoles. And to a lesser degree, why the fuck isn't, like, PC and Xbox servers, cross-platform? I mean, that should just be a no fucking brainer. But
yeah, definitely.
Again, we're here in 2019, and fucking consoles still have not caught up to fucking Sega with their Dreamcast. As I said, they had at least two games that I had and knew about, which was Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament, which were both cross-platform for PC players. Though most Dreamcast players were getting fucking annihilated by mouse and keyboard, PC players. But the fact that you could still do it was fantastic. So, yeah. Fucking nut up or shut up. Fucking sick of this non-cross-platform shit. Alright, I don't know how we got onto that, but That's all right. Moving on here. Jason Leigh. Is it Jason Leigh Howden?
I think it's Lee, but
I would think
not
so
sure.
too. Jason Leigh Howden's Deathgasm is finally getting a sequel. I don't know why we're saying finally. I never really thought the movie warranted a sequel. Not warranted, but like needed a sequel. Um, it's a fun movie, no doubt about it. It's kind of weird, kind of out there, but it's definitely one of those like you get a group of people and you watch it. It's a fucking lot of fun. But a sequel was not something I thought was ever going to happen, but here we are, and it looks like it's happening.
Yeah, they left a little bit of the story open to a sequel without a doubt, and something about horror and heavy slash black metal just works. So, like, this did seem like a no brainer right when it came out, back in 2015. It's been that long, but
And it feels longer to me, but
yeah, no, but like in any case, it made sense in the time. Like, let's do another one of these while the hype is hot, and it just kind of sat there for a little bit. So to finally get an announcement, it's very cool as a fan of the movie. It recently appeared on Joe Bob Briggs' The Last Drive-In as one of the Friday night movies. So it's kind of been opened up to a whole new group of people that might not have heard of it, might have like left it on the shelf for a little bit, and here we are with a announcement that the sequel's in development, which is pretty cool to me. I really dug the movie. It had a lot of fun moments. A lot of the gore was absolutely bonkers and off the wall. So, like, did we need it? Probably not. Did we want it? Sure. And I'm definitely seeing it.
oh yeah, I'm sure I'll see it as well. It just excuse me. It just wasn't something I was expecting. That's it. Like as I said, the first movie was a lot of fun. Definitely good for repeat viewings, and yeah, just something I didn't see coming from like a mile away. But it's definitely pretty cool news, and there are a lot of fans that are definitely happy about it. So we will give you more info as it becomes available. Let's see. FX renews the What We Do in the Shadows TV series for a second season. Anybody who knows Mungus and myself knows that we are big fans of the What We Do in the Shadows movie. Sadly, I have not gotten around to watching this series yet. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it and high praise from a lot of big names, including Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is apparently in love with this show.
That I didn't know. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he put out a tweet a couple weeks ago, I think, or a week or two ago about it, and was just showering it with high praise.
And it's very deserving. If you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, seriously, pause this, shut it off, go watch it because it's amazing. But if you've seen the movie, it definitely lives up to the standard set in that universe that Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement created. When I first seen the pilot of the show, I was kind of like, okay, they're kind of retelling the movie with new characters. Like this character is obviously that character, and you could pretty much pick them out. But recently, I caught myself up with the show, and come second episode, it really, really kind of takes on a life of its own. You could still draw connections between character and character, but they kind of really blossom into their own specific character. And the cool thing about this renewal is that it's justified. It's not just FX trying to, oh, let's see if we could keep this fire lit. People who normally wouldn't ever hear of a show like this or a movie like this are coming out of the woodworks and talking about it. Like my brother gave me a very good example with a coworker of his that came to him randomly and chatting and everything. It was like, hey, did you ever check out the show What We Do in the Shadows? And this is a guy that hasn't he's not a horror guy. He's not a person that would normally watch something obscure, especially something that sounds like this. And it's really taking on a life of its own. And people are really, really enjoying it. People that you wouldn't normally expect, not guys like us, but people, the general masses. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's got a reach, and it should. It's definitely a very well put together idea, from the movie, and as again from everything I've heard about the show is every bit as funny as the movie was. So I definitely will be checking it out soon. I don't even know. Like, I barely put on my TV. I don't even know what channels I have. I play for like the fucking bare minimum, aside from like HBO right now, so I can finish watching Game of Thrones. So thank God I can cancel HBO after Sunday. So I have to even see if I have FX. I think I do. I think that's one of the channels I get, but I don't know with any certainty just because I rarely put on my TV. But it is definitely cool, nonetheless, that we are getting another season. And so this next bit of news about the show, was it an episode that passed, or is it an upcoming episode?
This was the last week's episode, actually. I'm not going to jump too much into it, but I just wanted to note it for the sake of people that might be interested. Last week's episode had this crazy rollout of cameos. I don't want to spoil why or who was in it, because watching it play out was just such a blast. But if you're looking for some A-list celebrities, especially ones that were previously attached to familiar and maybe not so familiar vampire properties, I highly recommend catching up to, I believe it's episode 7, and enjoying the massive cameo red carpet that was laid out in the show. And for it to be like its first season, to see something like this play out, it was an absolute blast. Like, I caught myself up just to see everything, and you aren't going to be disappointed, especially if you're a fan of the film.
Well, it's definitely something to look forward to, for me at least. So very cool. Again, if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie first, and then if you like the movie, I would say probably seek out the show.
Chris just rented that. We watched it on Saturday night. He loved it. Cracked up.
Yeah, I mean, for good reason.
I'm just saying, you know how my brother is, and to see him seek out the movie and give it a watch. I mean, it's actually it's pounding its own ground, that franchise.
Well, that's good, man. Glad he gave it a shot and enjoyed it. It's good stuff. Let's see what else we got. So, sort of like a non-news sort of thing here, but Bill Murray says he is up for and ready to do another Ghostbusters, which I guess is confirming he's not a part of the upcoming Ghostbusters film.
No, quite the contrary. He's ready to do that film.
Oh, so he's in it, and he's just saying, it's like, oh, okay, so, I'm ready to go when we start shooting. Not that I'm ready to go if they decide to call me for the movie.
No, they basically, like, this is probably the most positive and optimistic Bill Murray's ever sounded when talking about Ghostbusters. And, he talked about in this interview how special it was, how it got his kids through college. And, it's something, it's like one of those once in a lifetime type of movies where, all of the perfect pieces fit together, and the talent who went on to do great things after the fact really, really came together in making the original movie. And he talked a little bit about in it because he didn't want to make it seem like he didn't support the girls in the film, and he really enjoyed what came of the movie. But he finally came out and said that he's ready to do the next one. He actually said that he's like, I did that one and I would do the next one. And hearing that from Bill Murray after 30 so years of him just kind of shunning this movie and brushing off fan comments or acting sarcastic or snide about it, to see him optimistic, I think Jason Reitman might have something good on his hands, like in going forward with this next movie in 2020.
Yeah, it's possible. And I say it's possible because Bill Murray is very picky and choosy with what he does nowadays. A lot of seasoned actors are nowadays. Bill Murray being one of them. Joe Pesci, he's another one who is finally returning to films with, Scorsese's upcoming film is sometime in the fall called The Irishman. These tried and true actors, have put in their time and felt, that, they're either just going to step away or they're just going to be incredibly picky with what they continue to put their name on. And Bill Murray is one of those people. He just does not put his name on many things, if anything, nowadays. But when he does, it typically is something unique, something special, and something that is going to garner quite a bit of attention. Now, if you really want to win me on this movie, and I'm not against it in any shape or form, but if you really want to win me on this movie, fucking let me find out that Rick Moranis is a part of it. Then you'll truly pique my interest.
I could have said it better, man. I mean, I'm a huge Bill Murray fan. I love pretty much everybody in that movie. Like, bring back the dude that played what was his name, Janosch in Part 2. Bring back a CGI Vigo for all I say. I'm just a diehard fan. But to see Rick Moranis step back into the spotlight and play Louis Tully or reprise any sort of role, like any all I'm saying is any Rick Moranis in any movie is A-okay with me, especially this one.
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting. I mean, I hopefully they bring back a few other familiar faces. I mean, how cool would it be to see someone like William Atherton come back as Peck, What was his first name? Walter? Was Walter Peck?
Walter Peck. He had no dick.
So yeah, seeing like a couple of familiar faces like that would be, would definitely get fans even more excited.
I think we're going to be getting Sigourney Weaver too. There's this like little bit of news that I happened to stumble across about a week or two ago that kind of went unpublished. Nobody really jumped on it, and according to this subscriber-based production magazine called Production Weekly, it listed Sigourney Weaver as being part of this movie. So I don't think people are jumping on that news quite yet, because when you go to the Production Weekly website, which it's a industry magazine, it's an industry publication, in order to be a part of it, you have to spend $80 a magazine or $80 a month or something like that. And we have screenshots, so nothing's 100% confirmed. But to hear that her name is in the
floating
sequel,
around,
yeah, that's definitely good news. And we'll have to see how it all plays out.
Indeed. So when does the movie start shooting?
The shooting got pushed back like a week, but I believe it's supposed to start shooting this summer.
All right. Well, if when news breaks, you know where to find it, guys. So moving on to tonight's main discussion here. So, a couple of days ago, the It Chapter 2 teaser trailer finally dropped, and it's more of an extended scene rather than a teaser trailer. And I think because of that, I wasn't really a fan of it. Again, don't get me wrong. I loved It Chapter 1. Thought it was very fun, very well done. A couple things I wasn't really, too keen on, but for the most part, it was a very solid film. And I'm pretty excited for, chapter 2 as well. But it's just that the way they did this teaser just didn't really do it for me. And I'm very much in the minority on this one because all the reactions on my Twitter timeline were nothing but positive and just like hype. And, it didn't really up my hype for the movie at all, but that's fine because I'm still seeing it regardless. But yeah, it just didn't do anything for me.
The thing about this trailer is, I agree with you. It definitely came off a little bit weird because it's, like you said, it was an extended scene. And having heard that this trailer aired at one of the more recent film festivals, it seemed a little bit on the lazy side to just churn this thing out about a month or so later. That being said, I'm a, excuse me, I'm the type of person that really, really enjoyed the miniseries, and I'm constantly comparing between the two, even though I promised myself that I'm going to try not to. I feel like the original scene that played out, the scene that played out in the teaser, if you haven't seen it, is Beverly coming back to her hometown, obviously Derry, and visiting her old apartment. And to me, it just resonated a lot more in the original, where, like you had the, uh, I don't know, maybe it was the actors that really did it for me. This one feels a little bit, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, to be perfectly honest. It feels a little out of place, but what they did differently from the original scene in the miniseries, is playing out very well with audiences and fans. That scene aside, the little bit of teaser that we did see in the trailer is fucking intense, in my opinion. You don't see a lot. You see a lot of shots of, the adults, and looking at their kid reflections, and them revisiting spots in Derry, reunion at the Chinese food restaurant. Thing that really sold me on the intensity of this was the sound design. The sound design had this element where there was like real quick flashes, and they were all broken up with Pennywise's like weird creepy laugh, as well as that weird piece of like music sound effect. Like each cut was accompanied by one or the other, and it just was building and building. And by the end of it, when you saw Pennywise, who all he said was hello, um, it's just, I don't know, it really built to something special. And I, whoever worked on that trailer, whoever did the little sound design, they really need to do more work, because I was very impressed with like how I'm just seeing random little shots, nothing particularly scary, but listening to the sound made it more intense as it went on. And that little teaser clip was what, 30 seconds at most.
Yeah.
So, I feel like they did something really special. You've got the extended scene and then a really, really short teaser. But the teaser, which most of it took place in the daytime, had this element of horror to it that you don't really see very often in teaser trailers or horror movies in general lately. It was really cool in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely helped because, from just watching that extended scene, as I said, didn't do a whole lot for me personally. But what we got after that was more my style. I liked what I saw. I'm getting to the point though where I'm not really. I think I'm falling out of love with the guy who plays Pennywise name.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård, that's it.
Mhm.
I wanted to say the name of the director for some reason.
Andy Machete.
Yeah. Um, I'm really falling out of love with Skarsgård's laugh. I was on board in the first film, and then it just seems like every time I hear it, and the more I hear it, the more it's just, I don't know, it's not resonating with me anymore. It's just not hitting me in that kind of creepy horror spot that certain things, hit me. And I'm
That's
not.
weird that you say that, because I'm actually a little bit of the opposite, because um not to get into too much, but like, you remember what he did with the eye, with the lazy eye that he has, and he's kind of letting the eye droop to the left in his performance.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Um,
I remember reading that.
right. So what I'm kind of like attributing what he does with that to what he does with the laugh, because you got to realize that he's like this weird entity, like this evil entity and everything. And the explanation for the eye drooping was this evil being is concentrating less on the appearance that he's putting forth, Pennywise the clown, and more on, like, trying to really suck that person into whatever trap he's laid before. Now I'm seeing the laugh as a similar sort of thing, where he's not a clown. He's what he thinks a clown would be, and the laugh isn't that of a clown's laugh, but more of an interpretation of what a clown might be. You know what I mean? It seems almost alien, and I think it fits the character really well.
All right, I get what you're saying, but we're digging a little too deep for a fucking
I'm just
laugh.
saying, man. You look at the things that Heath Ledger did, in researching the character, the Joker, and hearing Skarsgård talk about what he did in research to play Pennywise. Like, it would not surprise me if that was part of what he's trying to do in a performance.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And again, I'm not knocking anything. It's just, it's just the more I hear it, the more I'm just not an overly big fan of it. I mean, maybe once Chapter 2 comes out and I see it on the big screen and hear it on the big screen again, and I see it, obviously in a new movie, maybe that'll change my mind. It's, stuff like that happens. Things you love at one point, you start to fall out of love with. It's nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary.
I hear you, man. I'm not trying to put you in the spot and be like, listen, motherfucker, you better like to laugh. I'm just saying that, like, hearing a few interviews with the dude, I'm just like, well, maybe it's some purpose, like, that's pretty cool. But I get where you're coming.
But yeah, so very positive reactions all around for the It Chapter 2 trailer. Hopefully we get a full trailer very soon. When is this movie coming out? I don't even know.
That's a really good question. Let me stall. September 6th, 2019. So it's closer than we thought. I thought it was going to come out in October, but September works.
I thought it was summer, but apparently I'm way off. So yeah, good stuff there. Moving on. So there is a pressurizing segment on tonight's show, and I don't feel like going too deep into this. I'm just gonna say my 2 cents. I'm leaving it at that, because I'm in a good mood. I don't need this dumb ass segment tonight putting me in a sour mood.
You know what?
But,
why don't you, let's just go right to Geek News.
No. 'Cause I got something to say. All right. Anyone in the horror circles on Twitter, probably in the last couple of days, have seen a poster floating around, okay? Poster for a new movie coming out. Name of this movie, Clownado. Yeah, I'm not joking. It's the name of the movie, Clownado. Go ahead, look it up. I'll wait. Go ahead, look it up. So, premise of this fucking movie is apparently some clowns from an evil carnival, I think, unleash some type of evil, and tornadoes happen, and look, listen. Taking something scary, like a clown, clowns are scary to most people, and combining it with a fucking tornado, just stop with this shit. All right? Great. Yeah, it was a fun gimmick and novelty with Sharknado, and then 14 sequels later, that shit is still going, and it's gone. The novelty has worn off. Fucking end this shit. It's just not good writing anymore. right? It's lazy writing, fucking frankly. You know, is the fucking horror NATO gonna become a fucking subgenre now? Like, instead of getting a million zombie movies, are we gonna get a million horror NATO movies now? Like, fucking stop! It's pathetic. And personally, anybody and everybody involved in this film should be fucking ashamed that they couldn't come up with their own original idea. Because at the end of the day, all this movie is just a direct ripoff of Sharknado. And honestly, if you're gonna rip off anything, why do you want to rip off fucking Sharknado, one of the most embarrassing films ever? I don't care if you enjoy the film. That's fine. You can enjoy the film, all right? It's stupid fun for the most part, despite how stupid it is and how fucking terrible the effects are. But it's still embarrassing on almost every level. Don't rip off something embarrassing. Rip off something that, like, has meaning behind it. Something that people fucking can get behind. But clowns in a goddamn tornado? Fucking these people aren't even trying anymore. Man, I got fucking ideas out the wazoo. And just because, and are my, what I think are pretty good ideas ever going to get put on screen? No. But I got to sit here and fucking see that some dumbass who wrote the script for Clownado is getting it made into a goddamn movie? That's embarrassing as a horror fan, man. I'm sorry. And the worst part about it is not the fact that this movie got made. That's bad enough. The worst part about it is the fucking, like, reception I saw when this fucking poster hit Twitter. Like, people were going, like, apeshit over it. Now, I won't say all the people. There was a decent amount of people who were not, impressed, let's say. But there was almost an equal number of people who were, like, fucking on board. Listen, seeing it is one thing, but being like, oh my god, I'm on board, I can't wait for this thing to drop, that's a fucking other thing, man. Do not get excited for schlock like this, because all that means is that more people are going to put out even more worse schlock. Fucking support good films. Don't support this shit. Support indie films, man. Support films that people don't know about, people haven't heard about. Don't support this fucking schlocky rip-off garbage. Be better fans than that, in my opinion.
I agree. And to add to that really quick, support good schlock, not just something that's trying to get a reaction out of people because of how wacky it is. Like, I'm reading the synopsis right now, and I'm going to read it to you really quick. And it reads, I'm going to read the synopsis first. Cursed demonic circus clowns set out on a vengeful massacre using tornadoes. A stripper, Elvis impersonator, truck driver, teen runaway, and a dude get caught in the supernatural battle between Femme Fatale and the boss clown from hell. Now tell me, does that not read like a fucking Mad Lib? Like, I feel as though this is how they made the movie. Like, it was like, cursed blank, set out on a vengeful blank, using blank, and then, like, this is how they filled in the gaps. Just, like, a bunch of beers, a bunch of friends that watch one too many Roger Corman / sci-fi movies, sci-fi channel movies, and this is how they created this thing. Don't do horror that way. Please, like, be better filmmakers, be better creators, and, stop trying to ride the coattails of a one-hit wonder that happened to live for 14 sequels or whatever.
And you know what? It's gonna be funny. You'll come across interviews at some point from maybe the director or the writers of this movie, and they're gonna come out and they're gonna say shit like, "Yeah, man, this was a labor of love, man. I'm such a big horror fan. I love the genre, and doing this movie was a fucking labor of love." Man, fuck you. I see that shit. I am gonna fucking find you, and bad things are gonna happen. You know what a fucking labor of love is? Hatchet. That's a fucking labor of love, not this dog shit. Angry now. Angry, and I don't even have a fucking beer to drink.
We said we weren't going to go there, man. We said we were not going to go.
We're going to Geek News. I'm done with this shit. Fucking don't support this movie, please. All right, let's get on to some Geek News here, man. Come bring me back down. USA, pixie dust. Don't fucking claim that either, UMG, you pieces of shit.
Goose Fraba. Goose Fraba.
So the first reactions are rolling in for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Man, for anyone who saw the trailers for this movie looks fucking good. Like, stupid good. Like, yeah. Where was this fucking type of, Godzilla filmmaking in 1998?
Oh yeah.
Wow. How are those reactions looking?
They're basically calling this movie like the must-see summer movie. Like, plain and simple, if you were disappointed with the last Godzilla, which kind of kept Godzilla hidden, like like what's his name? I don't want to call him Jaws. You yell at me for that. What's the shark's name?
Oh, Bruce.
Bruce. There you go. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Don't call fucking shark and Jaws Jaws. That is not his fucking name.
Exactly. Don't do that. I learned the hard way. But they kept Godzilla basically this kind of hidden entity. So when he finally does get revealed near the end of the movie, it is supposed to be monumental, groundbreaking, and really fucking powerful. But that let people down in a big bad way. Even though the last Godzilla movie was really, really good, people were just not having it. They were not happy. And they decided to take what they did in that Godzilla movie and do the opposite. They had every VFX and monster, and they called in the big guns for this movie. And according to a lot of writers and everything, this is the one movie you don't want to miss this summer. And I know that says a lot because Endgame just came out. But now that Endgame is, it's out there, it's doing its thing. Hopefully it's going to beat Avatar. We've talked about that before. But don't forget about the others of blockbusters that are coming out. And so far, the reviews are not even reviews. I think there's still whatever
like
snippets.
That is. Yeah.
Yes. This is just basically a little summary. But the people that have seen it so far are saying that, everything you're seeing in the trailer, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The battles, the monsters, the video effects, Mike Dougherty, the amazing director of Trick or Treat, he and his crew basically hit a home run, it looks like.
So I think what they did with the first film is brilliant. I'm a big fan of, good teases. When you have a good structure built around a pillar being Godzilla, but you keep the pillar hidden and just continue to focus and highlight in great detail or in, great fashion everything around the pillar. It makes, when you see that pillar, all the more better. Now, they kind of kept Godzilla hidden for the first movie. But again, everything around Godzilla was still really good. It was captivating. It was fun to watch. It was, everything that makes a good movie. And this is a Godzilla movie, and you're not really getting that much Godzilla. Now, that's a feat in itself. I don't care who the fuck you are, all right? Now, what you do is exactly what they're doing. Give them that first film. Just cock tease them all fucking movie, man. Give them a good movie. Just continue to tease them. Bring out the sequel, and then just go fucking balls deep with it. And they are doing that. And we're getting excited for this. We're getting like my favorite Godzilla creature in Mothra. I can't wait for that. Love Mothra. Big Mothra fan. Love Mothra. So what these filmmakers did is something that a lot of other filmmakers don't have A, the guts to do, and B, the patience to do. All right? So hats off to them to pulling off something that most people will. And I got to say, very proud of the studio for being on board for what they did with the first film and then allowing them to go crazy the second film. That's a studio that has faith and respect for the film they're backing and the filmmakers making it.
Yeah, well said. I can't say any more to that.
Yeah, I had a zone right there, man. I had a Godzilla zone, and I was feeling it, man. But definitely, definitely some good things. Hope you guys are excited for this movie, like we are. I'm gonna have to rewatch the first one very soon. I haven't seen it since it got released, so yeah, I gotta get myself ready.
Yeah, man, I got a couple weeks to go. May 31st is when Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out.
Maybe we'll try to go Thursday.
I'm down if you are, man.
Yeah, I should be good. Yeah, I should be all right. I'll keep you posted on that one. All right, so moving on. We got some Suicide Squad sequel reboot news here. So there are rumors swirling around that good friend of James Gunn, Mr. Michael Rooker, who's pretty much in every James Gunn film, is signed on to play King Shark in the Suicide Squad film. That definitely seems like the kind of role Michael Rooker would be a part of. He has no problem with prosthetics and makeup and all of that not so fun stuff. They did a pretty good job with Killer Croc in the first film. I gotta say, despite how awful that film was, at least the overall detail on the character. Now, I don't think he really looked like Killer Croc from any of the comics I've ever seen, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the makeup and actual design and detail were still very good for the character. So I would assume that we would get something pretty similar and something, as well detailed and fun to look at as Michael Rooker as King Shark.
Yeah, I completely agree on that front. And having seen King Shark appear in the Flash series, as I believe he was all CGI, but to see what King Shark could be in a movie, like this has me all sorts of excited. I've been a big fan of Michael Rooker for many years, ever since he played in why do I always forget films? That's
Slither.
No, the Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, Henry.
Henry, there you go. He was just a tremendously talented actor, and he's appeared in a lot of films, but it wasn't until the Guardians of the Galaxy that people started, The Walking Dead and Guardians of the Galaxy, where people started realizing what kind of chops this guy has. And especially in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, my God, his performance is just, it makes that movie. That being said, this seems like a role that he would have a lot of fun with, and just him having his typical Michael Rooker kind of attitude, but playing a giant, angry, villainous shark. It sounds ridiculous on paper, but I am so on board for this.
Also rumored to be in the film is Idris Elba. And he will be playing every character in the film. It's
every one of them.
Yeah, it's just it's the all Idris Elba Suicide Squad,
especially King Shark.
But in seriousness, here he is rumored to be playing. Who is it? Deathstroke.
Correct. Now, he was originally rumored to be playing Deadshot, replacing Will Smith's character, but there's a bit of rumors that Deadshot is going to be going away, packing him away for a rainy day because Will Smith is scheduled for different things. So now the rumors shifted from Deadshot to Deathstroke, which makes me wonder what's exactly going to happen with the Deathstroke that Zack Snyder introduced at the end of Justice League that was supposed to be a main character in The Batman, which is never going to come out, I think. This DC universe boggles my fucking mind. There's also rumors that The Batman was rewritten 753 times, so there's a good chance that Deathstroke is not appearing in that film. but maybe they're kind of ignoring everything that Zack Snyder's done before and introducing, or at least reintroducing, Deathstroke via Suicide Squad. You know, like maybe this is a hard reboot, or soft reboot rather, on the series, introducing new characters while maintaining the talented ones from the first film.
Yeah, I don't know. The entire universe is in disarray right now. They're obviously focusing more on the solo movies because that's the ones that are making them money.
Yeah,
And
very true.
they're not going to continue losing money, because I don't care what anyone fucking tells you. They lost money on Justice League. They're not going to continue losing money making these giant ensemble films when they can make bank on solo films. So I don't even know where to fucking go with this. Obviously this film is going to do well. The first movie did well, even though it was not received well. But, you add James Gunn onto this one, and you're bringing in a legion of new fans. So there really isn't too much wrong they can do here. So yeah, I guess let the rumors fly, and we'll see where they land. And as for the Batman, yes, I've heard that on the current version of the script is that Deathstroke's not in it, and Hush isn't in it, and Mr. Pig isn't in it. I heard that they're going to end up going with Egghead and the Toy Maker.
What?
Yep.
How are you getting rid of Hush and putting Egghead in? Like,
that's just this version of the script. This version of the script, it's going to change again, all right?
Yeah, but you're giving me like a mini heart attack over here. You mentioned all these fantastic villains, and they're out. But guess what? You have Egghead.
Yeah, and the Toy Maker.
Toy Maker, I could see if done well, but Egghead just baffles my mind.
Okay, hopefully you realize that was a joke, and I'm sure that they wouldn't be that stupid to do that. But you know what? Someone from DC or WB might have heard me and just been like, "Oh, I didn't even think about Egghead."
Yeah, but you know what though, man? With everything that DC fans have had to put up with since they started their universe, you can understand why I might not think that was a joke. So cut me some slack here.
I cut you no slack. I'd be on board with Egghead if they somehow fucking resurrected Vincent Price to play him.
I kind of would too.
Bring Vincent Price back somehow and let him reprise his role from the ¡60 series, and we're good. We're good. I'd be on board with that.
If we were gonna do that, we need to bring back Cesar Romero and get him a nice bowl of orange wedges. Gilbert.
So, CEO Bob Iger reveals that another Disney Star Wars series is in the works. Now, I think whatever this series is going to depend whether or not it happens on the overall reception of The Mandalorian, which, if you have seen the clips and the sizzle reel for The Mandalorian, oh yeah, it looks good. It looks really good.
Very, very good. I mean, that's a Favreau television series, no?
It is indeed pretty much the man who is more or less one of the people responsible for the fucking MCU. He directed. Yeah, pretty much. He directed Iron Man. He kind of created the foundation for the MCU. So, I can see the series happening if The Mandalorian does well. Anything can be in the works. Anything can be in the works, and they could even have 10 scripts, but it doesn't mean anything's gonna really be greenlit or anything's gonna start pre-production. But if The Mandalorian does well, I think we'll be hearing a lot more about whatever this series turns out to be. Any rumors on what it might be?
Well, we got The Mandalorian, of course, and then they are in the process of making a Rogue One Cassian Endor series, which I think is pretty smart because he had, like a little bit of a smuggler vibe going. He had the Resistance and all this crazy, like, ground level story to him that we only got to get a taste of in Rogue One. So that's going to be a very cool series. As long as everything works out. It seems like the wheels are spinning. But one rumor, the giant rumor that is what this series might be, is they might be going back to the old Republic hundreds and hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga. So yeah, I mean, such big fans of. I mean, Star Wars fans are such huge fans of the Knights of the Old Republic video games and the storyline that was pretty much put out in the Old Republic MMO. So to see them kind of like toy around in that, and maybe even the non canon friggin' extended universe that was from some of the books, which they've always said they might pull from down the road, to see them kind of play in that sandbox would be really, really interesting, especially in terms of distancing itself from the Skywalker series.
Yeah, the Old Republic, is definitely a bright spot for fans, and they truly love those stories and those characters. So if they would smart, they got to hire some good writers to tackle some of those characters. But if they were smart, that would definitely be the route to travel down. And in other Star Wars news, we recently got, years general outline for the next trilogy. And, well, that first movie, at least that first movie, if not the second and third in that new trilogy, will be coming from the, are they the creators, D&D?
Yeah, they do some show running, a lot of the day-to-day decisions and things like that, like the general guide and how things are playing out for Game of Thrones.
Oh. Well, for the creators of Game of Thrones, David, is it Benoff or Benoit? No.
Benioff.
Benioff? Really? That's a weird
yeah.
name.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And D.B. Weiss. Which...
They're on the hot seat this week. Just a little bit.
Yeah, they don't instill the greatest of confidence in me. So, and I could sit here and I could tear into them for what I think is the worst season to date of Game of Thrones. But I've already argued enough with, plebs over on Twitter. Well, if you don't like the season, stop watching it. Okay, that's easy to do. I've only been watching it for 8 years. I'm just gonna fucking stop watching it just because I happen to not like this particular season. I'll just throw the other fucking 7 seasons down the drain and just say fuck it. I don't care how it ends. Maybe people fucking.
I knew this little piece of news was gonna trigger you a little bit, but. There's a lot of triggering going around with these two creators. For a while now, it was assumed that they would just be working on a Star Wars television show, and apparently that's not the case, and they are actually going to be working on a film. Now, a lot of people are very, very critical of these two right this second, but they did not have a peep to say for the last 7 years. There's been some nitpicks. There's been some outrage on character deaths and way things were moving, but never this much of vitriol and hatred for these two creators. So I think once the storm's over and everybody's disappointed with the ending of Game of Thrones and everything, there's a chance that they could bounce back from this. And regardless of whether fans like it or not, they're moving forward on the series. I know it's completely abnormal for Star Wars fans to throw giant temper tantrums over nothing. But they're gonna do it. Let them get their crying out, and hopefully, once DB Weiss and David Benioff move on from Game of Thrones, and all the dust is settled, their minds are in the right place for a future of the Star Wars movies, not trying to just kind of ride out what we've been having, play out for the last 40 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they create, because they're great at world building. They might not have the best a point A to point B map, but they really got shit done in 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. For some, maybe some even think the 8th season's good. But that being said, I'm confident. I'm willing to give him a shot.
It's got a death curse.
Well, so I guess this is what we can expect. First movie will be good. Second movie be just as good, if not better. And the third movie is just gonna shit the bed.
That's interesting.
Listen, I'm not gonna vilify the guys right now. 8 seasons on a very popular show, if not one of the most popular shows of all time. Do 8 seasons, and you do, I would say, probably 6 of those seasons very well. I wasn't a overly big fan of last season. I did not hate it, but it just wasn't really doing anything for me. And it was at that point I was really starting to feel like fucking fatigue from the show too. So that played a little bit of part of it. Again, didn't hate last season, but I wasn't like into it and feeling it as hard as the 6 seasons before it. This season is just put a fucking bullet in my head. I cannot wait for Sunday, and that's not because I'm excited, just because I want it to be over. I just want it to be over. I want to cancel HBO, and I just want to be done with this show. And then I want to get the news that George R.R. Martin died, and his books are never going to be finished.
Stop bringing this to a really dark place, man.
I bring everything to dark places. Dark places are where I shine.
Next time I decide I come across a Clownado article, I'm not going to put it in there. You've really taken a turn for the worse at the end of this episode.
Yeah, and I'm blaming Clownado 100%.
I'll allow it.
And it's just I just want it, and I'm not. There's plenty of other fans, who are on board all series long, and it's just like I guess they wanted to make the show seem epic, so they only wanted to do 6 episodes. But it's like, then they're short changing them, short selling themselves. And 6 episodes is just not fucking enough.
So weird to say that, but it is entirely true. They've just hit the pedal to the floor and they're zooming forward. But God, we need another season and a half to let everything play out.
Like last episode, just real quick. It's all right, so we get to this scene, and they're coming down the steps, and Quillburn, he's just fucking dead. We're just gonna kill him. 1, 2, 3, boom, dead. Character who's been with us since the very first fucking season, just boom, dead. No, nothing crazy, just kill him. It's wait, what? I get it. He wasn't super important, but man, this motherfucker is the reason why Cersei was in power and keeping her power, and he's sort of the puppet master behind a lot of big events in this fucking show.
And they literally just threw him.
Yeah, just throw him to the side. Literally. What? So, just little things like that, and little things like that, enough of those little things will build up into a big fucking thing, and it's just not fun anymore. So, maybe they got kind of waterlogged on the show. 8 seasons is a long show, and this is a very epic show with a lot of characters and a lot of moving parts and a lot of A scenarios, B scenarios, or A plots, B plots, C plots, D plots, with all these different characters. So many things to juggle. So possibly after, all the previous seasons, they were fucking waterlogged and just couldn't get it down onto paper the way they really wanted to. And that would make sense. It's a lot to take on, especially when there's a lot of pressure. Don't let anyone fucking tell you differently. That's a lot of pressure those guys had. So,
especially with the books, like, or the show jumping past the books. I think that was the death knell that really kind of watered the series down. I
Yep.
mean, everything else you're saying is 100% true in terms of, like, pressure, fan expectation, etc. But having a complete guide of X amount of books versus trying to get the Cliff Notes version of how things are going to go, or maybe not go, because I don't know if George is really knows where everything's going to go until he starts getting it down on paper. But it's a lot of pressure, and I came across this really interesting drawing online. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a drawing of a horse, and it starts, when you look at it left to right, it's a beautifully talented, amazingly drawn backside of the horse, where it's kind of like something that you could hang in an art gallery. And then drastically, as you focus your eyes to the right of the paper, it almost becomes like a stick figure of the horse. And what somebody said regarding this drawing is this is exactly how Game of Thrones played out on the television. Like, you've had this beautifully illustrated, amazing piece of art that gradually just lessened in quality because you didn't necessarily have the blueprints for everything. The books aren't there. It's not as fleshed out. You don't have dialogue and storyline to really pull from. And now you're forced to drop the training wheels and learn how to ride a bike again, or learn for the first time, as the seasons get past the books. And I think that's the biggest problem with the series right now. And everything, I wanted to agree with everything that you're saying, because like, I've heard many of your rants and hot takes and stuff, and I don't agree with nearly everything that you're saying up until today. And what you just said, that really resonated with me, and it's probably the most logical look at the series.
Yeah. Again, when it's so popular and so many people love it, and every day I'm seeing new fucking theory articles and theory videos, and they're I gotta say, and some of them I watch, and some of them, because I like doing some of these theories videos and articles and stuff, but I gotta say, I'm laughing at every one that is just like fucking horribly wrong. Like, I can't tell you how many theory videos and articles I read and watched that were like, Jaime Lannister is going to end up being the prince who was promised, and here's the proof. And it's just like, yeah. Had that one play out for you, champ. He got killed by a rock.
Spoilers.
It's like nearly a week later. These fuckers didn't see it, then that's on them.
No, I agree. Those theory videos, they're all over the place. But I think that's the fun of this show, or shows in general.
Oh, no, definitely. I'm not trying to knock theory stuff. I like doing theory stuff myself. But it's almost fucking like recycled theories. I'll come across a bunch of them, and it'll be like, insert character name is destined to be insert important role, and the proof is here. And then it's like a 6,000 videos or articles, all with that theme going. Arya is going to be this, the king, or the queen, and it's like, all right, I get it. You're picking apart everything, and that's fun and fine, and people love that. People are just fucking trying to pull anything out of anywhere. It's like, oh, okay, like all these theories about this fucking white horse. Maybe the fucking horse was just there, right? I know it doesn't really make sense. Maybe Rob Zombie directed that fucking scene. You don't know. You don't fucking know, people, all right? It's a horse. There was plenty of fucking horses during that battle. God.
Yeah, a bunch of Dothraki in that battle, man. Like, honestly, a horse didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, I thought it was just convenient, animus Deus Maxima or something,
Hey, it worked. Yeah, it's like, how could she get out of here real quick? We got horses, right? Bring on one of those things. Make it dirty.
So yeah, so just stuff like that. Again, I don't hate it. I just find it funny, but it's also a little like silly at times. But it is
Agreed.
what it is. These are the people who are going to be giving us our next big Star Wars movie. So we something we got to live with right now. So you know what? They got one more episode to win me back. It's not gonna happen, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I'm gonna be there Sunday night, watching at 9 o'clock, like every other fucking logical human on this planet. And I'm sure I'm gonna be live tweeting how miserable the episode is, and that's just from me, or giving my opinions the next day. I usually wait until at least really Tuesday, because I got a couple friends on my Twitter who don't see the episode until Monday. Damn Euros. But yeah, I mean, one more episode. Maybe somehow they tie all this shit together in a really nice, neat bow, or maybe they just fucking jump the dragon. I don't know. Well, I think I'm angry enough for tonight. So, on that note, that is where we are calling it for the evening. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Fun episode. We covered some cool shit. Gonna remind everybody one more time. May 31st, Friday, May 31st. Come join us for Biozombie on our next live commentary series. That should be a good one. We will give you more information on that as it draws closer. Remember to check out deadentertainment.com for all your horror needs and goodies. I have just submitted my latest editorial piece, a sort of bit of a labor of love piece I've been writing for quite a while. Definitely my largest piece to date, but it is a really special piece, and I think fans of what I'm writing about are really, really going to like it. And it might open their eyes to something they didn't really realize before. So keep an eye out for that. And I would say in a week or two, I'm sure that's, it's going to take a little bit of time to edit and get all the good stuff together for it. But that will be coming out soon. I'm glad I finally finished it, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Make sure you follow us over on Twitter. Follow me at Bates_MotelMT. And Mungus at Ray Mungus. Follow the site at Dead Ent Site. And you can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dead Entertainment. Yeah, you got anything over there to plug? Anything cool coming up that I don't even know about?
Nothing big. I'm finally working on the structure of a column that I'm going to be starting to write within the next week or two. I got some stuff together for it of how I want everything to play out, and it's going to be a weekly thing. I don't know what day it's going to be on or whatnot, but it's finally coming together. So we keep an eye out for that. I'm sure we'll talk about it once all the details are ironed out.
Nice.
Other than that, nothing too much, man.
Yeah, so, as we're about halfway through with May, it is going to be August before you know it, and we'll be back at Monster Mania in full force this year. We're going to have quite a crew with us. And it's turning out to be another massive guest list, which could spell trouble like it did a year ago. But with them limiting tickets, with them limiting ticket sales, which also we need to go ahead and jump on sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
Good that we already have the room. We have the room, so that's not an issue. But we also have to remember to get tickets because they will sell out. But more on that as we draw closer. That is August, and we are a couple months away. But just kind of wanted to remind everybody that it is coming up soon. So thank you guys very much. Let me see. Next week, I should be good. What is next week? So next week is the 22nd. So my mother-in-law is flying in that day, but I don't think she's getting in until like after midnight. So that should not affect next week's episode.
All right, sounds good.
Because as far as I know, I'm taking off at least Thursday. I might take off Friday too and have a 5-day weekend. So, because
Well, if we end up,
that Monday is Memorial's Day.
that's right. That's right. I was going to say, if we end up doing the Godzilla thing and we want to do a live reaction once we see the movie, if that all plays out, we could take the 29th for a little bit of a break because we're going to have a live commentary that week too. So we'll see how everything plans out, as long as we're back at it sooner or later.
Yes, we will keep you guys updated on all that as things, continue to shift and change, especially for me with all the stuff I got going on in my life. But we should be back next week. And again, thank you guys. We'll hopefully see you then. And remember,
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.